Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. It's been an up and down week as far as emotions for Atlanta United. Are the recent results a way to where we want to be? We get into all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5 Star Fam. I'm AJ and this is Michael. And Atlanta United had a pair of results this past week. I mean, we are on a momentum train, guys. Watch out. Atlanta United are going to get...
We're back.
Yeah, we are back, guys. We have a draw on the road and a win in the U.S. Open Cup. Guys, this is what it is. Like, okay, all kidding aside, guys. I mean, yeah, it's, are you
not entertained?
Yeah, it's, the problem is, the games were not entertaining. They were actually a little bit more haphazard and a trotting affair for both. Unfortunately, we will go through both and get into the match preview for the weekend against LAFC. But first up is the Nashville SC match away that ended 1-1, and we'll go through this one pretty fast as. Not a ton really did happen. We didn't learn that much in some respects, but definitely you saw the team fight for that result. That's for sure, and that's at least very, very good to see. Is that the players are trying to turn this around, even though inside the league it is 8 winless, but hopefully these pair of U.S. Open Cup results and wins are going to maybe propel us forward to get past this really tough period of ours. But this 1-1 draw, it began in a sense of very unfortunate, in the sense that the first half not the most inspiring in terms of play, but we were able to break this 3-match losing streak in MLS play from this result. But it was obviously missing some players for sure, but it also was where without Gigi, without Thiago Almada, it looked like it was gonna be a bit rough. And as well, I mean, you have this first half where, in the 40th minute, there was a little through ball to Hani Mokhtar, and inside the box, Braguzan, he had to come off his line and make a stop, and unfortunately, he definitely took him down in the sense that, well, some people thought it was soft. Did you think it was soft?
When I first watched it, a little bit, but when I looked at it again, I thought it was a fair assessment. I mean, Braguzan noticed the danger coming his way. Noah Cobb was kind of getting shrugged off. He was getting beat. He knew Hani would likely have maybe 1 or 2 more touches to get a decent shot off, to maybe like chip it or to slot it to the far post. But so he thought, I'll cut off the angle, as like a lot of good veteran goalkeepers will think to do. Unfortunately, he came a little too close, cut off the entirety of the angle, and also cut off the player, forcing Hani to do a little bit of an embellished dive, but it really was necessary because if he didn't, there goes Hani's knees. So he didn't really have much he could have done about that. I think I was kind of thinking about, perhaps what would Josh Cohen do? Perhaps he may have stayed back a little bit more and hoped Hani wouldn't have that touch to put it in the, the far post, because he's being a little, pushed by Noah, even though Hani kind of cleared him. he didn't look fully in control of his touch either. He looked like it could have gotten away from him, and he probably wouldn't have been able to do much with it. When Brad rushed out, he just got there to hit that little touch in order to get the call. I don't know if Cohen does that or if that was the best move. So, yeah, I don't know. That one perhaps could have been on Guzan, but the thing is, experienced goalkeeper probably would make that call to cut off the angles, but maybe just not because he's a little bit older. He didn't respond as fast as his brain recognized the danger, and he's like, I need to get out there. I've overcommitted. I probably am going too far out, and then it's already too late. So that's probably what the majority of what happened.
Right. I think he probably would have preferred to stay big and just not really make contact. And while he was trying to go for the ball, he does get the man
too far away and he was beat. Yeah,
exactly. And yes, I agree. Like Mukhtar, he didn't really necessarily have to, but in order to probably get the call as well, he was going to always inside the box, especially with a team that has an interim head coach, as well as they've been struggling with form. It definitely was something that, they're going to, try to go any way to buy a goal, get the result. I don't blame them, to be honest. So it's, while, some people might be feeling aggrieved, I think it's probably fair, and it is what it is. I mean, and Mukhtar, he does put it away against Brad Guzan. Guzan with penalties, it's pretty much fairly foregone conclusion, except for this season. This the one that obviously was more of a miss, but it was definitely less a save per se. But but the first half for Atlanta United, it was definitely one of those where we were trying to get to the final third, and we did, but then we couldn't find that final ball, and the final ball just eluded us time and time again. And I mean, it's just like
I've seen this movie. I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. It's constant where a lot of these players are really bereft of confidence. None less than Sava Lapsanice, who he's underperforming his XG by quite a bit. About a couple goals, which it's not that cut and dry if you really know the stat of XG. It's like it's accumulation of those chances that you get, and so say one chance is like a really clear cut chance. Okay, great, that's maybe closer to one goal, but usually they're maybe a little bit half chances, quarter type of chances in that sense, if you will. And I mean, it's bad in front of goal for Saba right now, unfortunately. But these players are also being asked to play a lot of minutes at the moment. So there is that caveat, but so is everybody else. So
it was like 9 and 30 days or something like that.
Right, and so it's fair in some regard that your form kind of goes, if you're not really in good form, and you're not really blessed with the ability to have rest and kind of have time to figure it out, get into the training grounds and work on things that are really eluding you. But I mean, so the first 45, no shot on goal and 0.07 expected goals. As anemic as it gets, really. So it's it wasn't promising. Like it was definitely an entertainmentless half for sure, especially on a 1:45 on a Saturday. Oh man. There were a lot of things that people were probably wanting to do, and watching this kind of performance probably wasn't one of them, unfortunately. But the second half obviously saw a little bit better. In the 56th minute, Bartosz Slisz he was able to, after kind of a recycled possession, Tristan Muyumba, he was able to lay it off and let his midfield counterpart kind of in rhythm kind of get onto this ball that he put in beautifully. It is a really well taken goal. And first touch, just right hand side of the goal where keeper couldn't do anything about it. Probably slightly unsighted, but still either way. I mean, scoring it from that distance is still difficult. And he scores his first MLS goal of the season. And Muyumba, he got his first assist of the season. So, definitely momentum was a little bit more on our side then. But it still was where, I think we're trying to play a little bit more attacking at that point. Hernandez, who had started in kind of a left back position where Wiley was more the left wing, where there was also kind of the ability to kind of play into a kind of 5-man back line if we wanted to, with wing backs. I think seeing that going in, I was like, okay, we needed to change some things. We probably, at least for this one match, a one-off, can maybe get away with this, be a little bit more adaptable with a 3-man back line. But, it obviously is still, though, like we look pretty bereft of any sort of final third ability, really. But, what'd you think of the lineup and the changes that were made, and kind of how they might have affected our ability to attack, but also maybe our ability to defend, which was still decent sans the penalty.
Yeah, I think you need to focus. I mean, we've said this before. We want to focus more on defense when we're away and not do the same thing we normally do, which is we've done like almost every game, which is play our quote-unquote style, building out the back and possession and attack that way and overwhelm your opponent. We were more defensive-minded, and I think that paid off a bit, except for the penalty, like you said. We were fairly decent with preventing goals. Nothing from the run of play. Not that, Nashville was able to muster that much against us. They're a struggling team, like you pointed out. If we were going to get points away, like in this stretch of games, this was probably one of the chances, one of the better ones. It's a struggling team, interim coach, they're not doing so hot in the standings. They're just right above, they were just right above us. And they still probably are. And then, this is a chance to potentially hurt a struggling team, steal a point, smash and grab. But we did get a point, and points away in MLS, like we always say, are great, and you should be thankful for them because of how difficult it is to play away.
At least for us.
Yes, yeah, and if anyone is the poster boy for that, it's us. But I mean, it's one thing I will say is that's a hell of a way for Schleich to open his account with an absolute piss missile. Like I can't, I was like, there's nothing is gonna come from this game. We're not making anything. There's completely bereft of ideas in the attacking third, and yet out of nowhere, he just, like we said, some players, they just go, nothing's happening. I need to take this upon myself and just, take a defibrillator to this team and shock them alive. And that's exactly what he did with a rocket. And it's fun to see. You like to see absolute bangers like that. I loved it. I'm glad to see he has that in him. Glad to see that he's willing to take those shots. And we got a point out of it. So, right. The tactics who we put out. I mean, McCarty he said had an interesting feeling playing there. Yeah. I think that had to do with some of the solidification we had on our defense against Nashville that game. He knows them fairly well.
Of course, yeah, being one of their former captains, and of course, playing there for a few years. So yeah, definitely, he got a nice reception when he came on. So that was,
as he should. He's a stand-up guy, it seems like. So
indeed, yeah, he's got the humility. He's definitely got that type of that umbrage. That's a former. Just any former captain of any team, like, yeah, you want to see, like, yeah, he wasn't kind of coming in with this kind of like false bravado, or like, oh yeah, any sort of like, he wasn't he wasn't signed, but he definitely has kind of that love in his heart for his former clubs, and I think that's always good to see. Like, you don't want to see those like salty bastards that come in just because they weren't signed, and then. But it is also, if he had scored a winner, like, I would have been okay if he had celebrated, but but he probably would not have. To be fair, he probably would have put his hands up. But
he would definitely not have celebrated.
Yeah, exactly. But
definitely not.
Oof, iffy. Oof. But so as far as we pretty much chopped and changed to pretty much try to finish the match. I mean, Stian Gregerson, he got some minutes. Noah Cobb, unfortunately, went off a little bit injured, and so Efraim Morales had to come in. Luis Abram as well. But yeah, I mean, Efraim Morales, he is looking good. He is looking, he's looking a player that smells the danger, recognizes when he needs to step in, and I mean, trusting a 20-year-old to see out the match essentially is like, ain't too bad. It really, like, I really think that he probably should be deserving some minutes as a starter, and possibly against LAFC, but we'll see. But
I mean, Abram hasn't made me like jump up and down with joy necessarily. He hasn't been terrible, but like, he also hasn't been great. Not that I'm expecting Efraim to be great, or even Noah. Like, their expectations are so low that, like, even if they get beat like Noah did against Hani, that doesn't bother me. That's expected to happen. Like, when Noah got beat against Benteke, that's expected to happen to a player like that versus a player like a crafty player like Mukhtar or something. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, he's killing us and he's whatever, but I'm happy with their performances, especially Noah, with what I heard from Pineda about what he said when he was taken off. Like, he was like, I wanna, but he was like, what did he say? Something about like he wanted to like be able to come back on the pitch. That he's like, I don't cut me out completely yet. I think I might be able to come back, and he really, really wanted to keep playing. Like, that's really cool to hear. That's really good to hear that the guy's fired up and doesn't want to, leave anything off the table. So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I fully agree. Yeah, I mean, Noah Cobb seems like a player that is definitely for the future. He's working on it now, and he's gaining that valuable experience. And coming out of the team, like, he doesn't want to come out of the team. So him getting an injury, like, he's seeing a lot of minutes in MLS right now, and that's gonna be really good for his career. But it is also, of course, right now we need to get results too, and that is the difficulty as well. Kind of the game you have to play with. Blooding the youngsters, but also getting results. And I don't think necessarily he is costing us matches. I mean, the DC one probably notwithstanding, but again, like, we understand the nature of it at the moment. But it is going forward that we have the problems at the moment. And yes, you don't have Amada, you don't have Giakoumakis, but I think it's the patterns of play that just aren't there. That the team, like, it's just way too often that we see players out of the team and we just completely just look toothless, because that's what this match was. We had a XG of 0.6. Nashville had a XG of 1.5. Yes, we won the possession battle, but yeah, they had more shots. They had more shots on target. They were just overall more dangerous than we were going forward. They were just probably a little bit more committed than we were, and and while we were attacking, it just that final ball really looked lacking, just completely, where it's like I don't know, I like once we were in the final third, I was like nothing's gonna be happening here, like with the way that we're trying to put in a ball. It like basically either the final touch or the ball would just be overhit, underhit, like you name it, it happened. And I don't know. It's just that's kind of the crux of it, is that while we're still like we're decent defensively, we're like it's a pretty decent return as a team defense. We just we look like a team that cannot put the ball in the back of the net sans a moment of magic. And that's really what it is like, you're relying on a player on his individual quality to essentially, kind of bail you out.
Right.
And, how many times have we said that?
Yeah, which means that this system isn't working in terms of scoring goals. I mean, it used to be, but it's not anymore. And you're relying on hero ball, which is not repeatable and it's not consistent. So, exactly. If you score some miracle ones, great, good for you, but that's not going to happen every game, and you may have to find a way to score in a different way.
Yeah, indeed. But let's wrap it up for this match, and yes, for the U.S. Open Cup match against the Charleston Battery. Well, in South Carolina, it was also a rough one to watch. It ended 0-0 in full time, but had to go into extra time and to penalties. But this lineup completely changed pretty much. You saw the likes of Luke Brennan, Ashton Gordon, also Jamal Tiare, as well as Morales and Luis Abram, as well as Josh Cohen start. And so, it's a completely kind of chemistry-less team where they have no idea where each player is going to be. But, it would be different if it was a team mostly made of the twos or something. And, they had played together a little bit more frequently. But it's not even that. And so that's what's pretty difficult, is like most of these players don't know where they will be. And it kind of looked like that. It just looked like a team against a Charleston Battery side that kind of best in class this year in USL. Really good. They're undefeated in league play, first place in the Eastern Conference, and it kind of looked that way. Like it was definitely where the Battery,
they could have easily won this game in regulation. They could have easily won this game if they just one of their shots went in. I mean, you could say it about us too, but I think there's certain points where they could have scored and we would probably hung our heads, and that would have been all she wrote. Yeah,
because scoring from like from the regular time, it looked difficult, and the first 45 was pretty much the Batteries. Like we had a couple of maybe like looks, never really looked a thing. I mean, Luke Brennan looked lively on the right side there, and was pumping in some crosses, digging out some crosses as well, and some really tough kind of moments where it didn't look like he was going to be able to to get anything as far as service, but he was able to. And Jamal Tiare, was trying to get on the end of some of them. But it is definitely just one of those. Again, this match is where in the final third, we just don't look like we have it. And there is definitely, for the Battery, some moments where I think stands a little bit of like just some accuracy. And as well, there was a long shot that, oh my God, like the ball striking on it. I mean, it might have beat Josh Cohen, even though he, maybe had it covered in the sense that maybe would have tipped a finger on it, but hit from distance, that was, oh my God. But were you about to say something?
Yeah. Are you talking about the shot that glanced off of one of the players out on the wall and almost still went in?
Not that one, but yeah.
Yeah, so that could have gone in too. That would have been, Josh Cohen wouldn't have gotten a piece of that whatsoever. But there was a couple of long shots from Charleston. A couple stung the gloves of Josh Cohen. He was a stalwart in goal. I think he's a Lane Night Fan TV listener. I think he heard me when I said, I'm done losing to USL sides. Yeah. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to think of that when it's the last penalty kick shot. I'm going to have your words in my head, and I'm going to save it.
Yeah. Tongue in cheek, of course. But, hopefully he is acknowledging that, yes, we will not lose to an inferior side, which this very much is. Like, that has happened too often, obviously, and it is something that, I think it would have broken this team. It would have been to an effect where, I mean, if you go out in this competition, then, especially at this point, trouble. It is just spelling trouble. But so Pineda had to make some changes pretty early, probably to save a little legs, but also a little bit of underperformance. Where I mean, some players still getting back into fitness. Jamal Tiare, but also Ashton Gordon. Game just didn't look like it was his in this one. Yeah, super young. He wasn't really affecting a lot of things, so it made sense to bring on Bartosz Ślisz in this. And Ślisz looked like he was a class above everybody else, which is the case. But it is where, I mean, he was stopping a lot of the Battery attack, and along with Cohen, who I think was commanding his box really well. He was standing tall, collecting those crosses. I mean, he just looked like more of that type of player or goalkeeper that can really just make sure inside the box you don't have anything to worry about, and I think it's refreshing. It's like, we've been missing that a little bit, and I think that's it's very important. It kind of trickles forward. So, but it's 90 minutes of pretty much nothing ball, and I'm just gonna be frank. It's just like, this is obviously a very chopped and changed side, but you still want to see a little bit of some sort of pattern of play if you're gonna, rotate that heavily. You have some other teams around the league that didn't, namely LAFC, who played a pretty strong 11. They got through theirs pretty comprehensively with 3-0 win. You kind of maybe think about that. It's like, okay, should we have started a little bit, where you have more of the starting 11 in there, and you can take them off earlier if you get the lead. That way you don't have to spend and expend so much energy just to get this, this W. Because it's win and advance, or go home, or lose and go home. But the fact that a lot of these players now, while majority of them maybe aren't in the starting 11, well, you still saw like Brooks Lennon play a ton of minutes. Stian Gregerson play a little bit more than maybe he has in recent times, of course. Him getting back to fitness. Schleich as well. It's, you're kind of hamstringing them for, the weekend, even though you didn't mean to. You're wanting to not use them, but you had to. And
I mean, this is realistically Pineda's last chance for a trophy this season.
Yeah.
Why not go for it? Why not try to get it versus, trying to save legs for an LAFC game where you're like, no, not trying to spoil anything for later, but I mean, probably not going to win that one, regardless of what we do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, even though it's at home, and but obviously Pineda's not going to play that way, because you're going to have the sense of I can turn things around, we can do this, but it is also it's just super tough at the moment, and to also address what you're saying, like best chance for a trophy, because it's like Leagues Cup, we have a lot of players out. We have a lot of, first team players that will be away, and it just is gonna be very tough. But anyway, so it's 0-0 after 120 minutes. In the second half and the extra time, we looked a little bit more where we're that team to probably kind of get something out of this, but alas, nothing was really able to happen in kind of regular play, and so yes, we had to go to penalties, and it began a little auspiciously with Brooks Lennon with his first kick, a little bit of a telegraphed kick, unfortunately, probably for me. I wouldn't have him as the first kicker, but he pretty much was captain, like in that sense. So it's it makes sense in that sense. But I don't know if you guys can hear me. There we go. Hopefully, okay. My audio went out for a quick second, but as far as the order, it was Lennon, it was Daniel Rios, it was Schleich, Hernandez, Firmino, and then Gregerson, the sixth one. Definitely interesting as the order. It was definitely our most senior players, along with Nick Firmino, who, fifth. You kind of have it's kind of a, I guess, way of thinking how you really want to order it, and maybe you do sometimes put your best penalty taker last, but oftentimes you put them first to kind of set the bar to set precedence. But it's definitely interesting. But in this shootout, I mean, it's like basically on their side they were pretty much up 3-2, and then it was 4-3, and then Josh Cohen did his business. And man, like his save against Gutierrez, where basically he was able to read exactly where he was going to go. Gutierrez didn't look confident going into it, I feel like. And I think my audio went out again. Sorry about that, guys. But we'll try to power through. I don't know why it's happening, but Gutierrez didn't look confident going in, if you didn't hear. And I mean, Cohen able to save that. I think that's when it swayed, for sure. Momentum went on our side, because Gregerson, he was able to score his, and it was up to them pretty much to have to score or go home. And I mean, Cohen to read that, and then with just a left hand, a strong left hand to push it up into the air. Okay, my mic is definitely going out again. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but he was able to put it up into the air with just his left hand. he definitely seemed a little bit more confident than I would have been to make sure that it wouldn't come back into play, because that type of thing does happen sometimes. And yeah, he definitely just like got up, didn't really look where the ball was, and I guess like he knew that it was gonna go over the bar, but yeah, and so celebrations ensued, and yeah, we were able to advance. But yeah, what was your thought on the whole penalty shootout?
It was a little exciting. I like penalty shootouts. I know not everyone does. Some people think it's not a good way to solve a game, because it could kind of go one way or the other. It doesn't really match with how the game in totality was played preceding it. So like a team that could have gotten beaten up the whole game all of a sudden pulls out a shootout victory because they got kind of lucky, because shootouts, there is an element of luck to them. So it is what it is. I personally am excited when I see them. I'm not excited when it's Atlanta, though, because we have never won a shootout before. Yeah. This was our first win in a shootout, which is insane.
Coincidental, maybe, or maybe not, that Brad Guzan was not in goal. Because, yeah, I'm not sure he makes these saves, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and Cohen almost got a second one.
He did.
Too. Like, he got two hands on it, but it just rolled in, off of his. He almost got there. So, like, he was dialed in to a degree. I was hoping maybe he'd save two, but it is what it is. He did enough, and that was what's important.
Right.
Then, like, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. Like, Lennon went first, like, a little bit, because, like, I think you have to set the tempo with a, make the net bulge with your first guy to really set the pace.
Confidently, yeah, definitely.
Just thunderclap it, so then everyone's like, because it shakes the goalie a bit too. You saw what happened when the Charleston goalie saved Lennon. He was fired up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, you don't want that. You don't want the guy to be hyped. So, that's what I think about that. But all of our other penalty takers outside of Lennon, they didn't have the same shade of what we saw in like last year's Leagues Cup or something like that. Like, these guys all were confident penalty takers, and they all had pretty darn good shots. And that makes me happy and a little bit more confident going into another penalty shootout now. And also, like you said, with Josh Cohen, he seems to be a better shot stopper. So, quicker reaction time, more athletic, can get to the corners and things like that, can cut off angles. I think we're in a much better position for shootouts now.
Right. Looking like a proper cup keeper in that sense, where, he's able to read where these players are going to go. Definitely. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, those goals are well taken. I think Schleich probably has the best one. He goes right down the middle, and it's confident. He doesn't smash it. It's finessed, and he's able to send the keeper the wrong way, too. It's well taken.
How about Stien's wind-up? That was pretty fun.
Yeah, going more like lefty, and then, pretty much.
Yeah.
It looks a little gangly, but it was effective. But
it threw the goalie off, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think he knew where he was going, but it looked like he didn't know where he was going. And that pretty much.
And also, Daniel Rios' penalty sent the keeper into the freaking shadow realm. Like, was his little Joseph Martinez, slight hop before it just blew the. Like, it almost looked like his Achilles just got completely blown out and he just fell over. I was like, yeah, he got me.
Yep.
And then also not for nothing. I believe that keeper did probably sustain an injury during the shootout, because he did look like at one point he looked like he was in a little bit of pain.
Right. And it might have been where, it's cramps, at that stage, even though he's not running all that much, but still, like if you're not used to that much action, in a sense. I mean, he's a team, or he's a goalkeeper on a top team. Usually you're not facing the most shots as well, and so kind of more action than you're used to. Something's gonna happen sometimes, and Was it an effect on it? Who knows, really? But it definitely, after that, I think, I mean, maybe the one that he could have gotten to was Ronald Hernandez's, but it still was, just high enough. Like, he dove the right way, but Hernandez was able to put it out of reach. So, I mean, I think what's interesting is maybe with our full starting 11, what that penalty order would have been. Because I don't think we've ever really seen it. Like, in the Leagues Cup, it was also, we had to have a defender shoot in there. Looking at you, Parata, and that was probably not the best idea, obviously, but I think in that, what that would be is interesting, because obviously Thiago Almada is the number one penalty taker. Giorgos Giakoumakis probably next. It's maybe how do you kind of mix that up a little bit, because the number 3 taker usually is kind of the anchor as well, where you want to try to be, in the case that yes, one of your teammates misses, okay, well, you have somebody that can kind of sweep it up and take care of business. So it is interesting. I mean, it's would you have Xande Silva, Saba Lapsinice also in there as maybe the first 4? And then, probably Bartosz Slisz probably is next in that regard, seeing how he took his penalty today. But, I don't know if I would have Lennon in there early anyway. Muyamba, interesting where he might be. We've never seen him
would be down the list for me. He'd probably still be on it, but he'd be down the list.
Yeah. And Wiley
especially
probably.
Seeing Stian take his, I want to see more of that stanky leg. I want to see that again. That was fun.
Yeah. And so I mean, Stian Gregerson probably 6 or 7 probably for me. So that would be interesting. And probably one of the left back or the left center back probably near last, probably. So I don't know. It's would you put Giakoumakis 3rd or 5th? Because your second best penalty taker. Interesting. I err more.
Probably 3rd. So you can put Schlieff at 5th, I think.
Yeah. It's probably how it would go, I think. But interesting nonetheless. How would you guys put the penalty order? Let us know. But
I feel I'm everything else isn't going great, but it seems like our penalty taking lineups are fairly good.
Yeah, exactly. Albeit this is against the USL side, but still, this will still build some of that confidence that we ever so need, of course, right now. And LA United is definitely pushing on everywhere. So, definitely moral victories right now is definitely the name of the game. But so wrapping up for that, and let's get into the news. Unfortunately, right now we are 12th in the Eastern Conference, right underneath Nashville, like we talked about earlier, and also right above Montreal as well, at negative 14 goal difference for Montreal. We are only at +1, which is much better than what's around us. So, there is a bit of it where, maybe we should be higher in the standings, but, the drop points from winning positions definitely has not helped that case. And, the 6 losses already, that's pretty much mostly why we're in the position we are where we are, because we have not prioritized, trying to win at all costs, really. And, it is what it is. But Schlieff, he was able to make the MLS Team of the Match day on the bench anyway. Congrats to him. I believe it's his first time making the MLS Team of the Match day. But as well, Georgia, the country, announced the 26-man squad for Euro 2024. And Saba, he made the roster. So congratulations to him. It definitely seemed like he was, really vying for a spot there. Now, the one issue is that maybe not one issue, many issues is that he will be out most of June because there will be a lot of fixtures for him, and so he'll be going not only to their camp but also playing those games, I'm sure. So that's another player that we will be missing from our lineup, and those of you keeping track as well with the Olympics, with Thiago Almada, Caleb Wiley, who will be gone, starting from July, bits of July anyway, into August. Yeah, like we're not gonna see our starting 11 for some time, and
I feel like we never do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, yeah, so in that, with the people that are Pineda out, it's like, okay, that is the one caveat that, this man will probably never get his full starting 11, but that's the thing around this league is that, you have to win with your depth. You have to win with every player that you have, and if you can't do that, then that's part of why we're in the position that we are in. And it's also on also on the front office. We've hamstrung our roster with kind of the U22 players that we can't fill the roster spaces with players that also we've moved on to other teams but still have some sort of roster mechanism that essentially prohibits us from being able to add another player in a sense. So it's our squad's gonna be very short, and we have to rely on a lot of untested players. So anyway, Atlanta United also announced a multi-year partnership with Marta, our train system that's privatized, of course, and a lot of people take to go to games. There will be a co-branded collectible Breeze card and a co-branded T-shirt that will be available for fans, so that will be interesting. But our friends at FTC UTD kind of put out a kit that has a little bit of the Marta colors. I'm gonna be honest, Marta hasn't really been improving a lot of their things, so I'm not really that enthused with a partnership, because it basically, while there might be some improvements to the match day experience for LA United fans, it just seems like Marta, like it's not a train system that I would laud as some of the best in the world. It's if we're looking at the best in the world, we need to look at the examples of like grid systems and like Chicago, like France, and Paris, and where basically you can connect from anywhere, and you basically almost don't even have to have a car, and I wouldn't say that about Marta, let's be honest, but there's deep-rooted things in that and why that has not happened, that we will not get into in this episode. Yeah. But as far as this brand partnership, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't care, honestly, but I do like the little card. That'd be kind of fun to have.
Sure.
So there's that, I guess. I mean, they have the like you said, FTC put out a mock kit with styled as the Marta colors. It looks cool. I mean, if they did something like that, I'd be like, all right, cool. Yeah. It was a fun little thing they did. Go for it. But it's this doesn't move the needle. It's whatever to me.
It's a good. I mean, it's a good step, but it's like, does it really move the needle? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a piece of Atlanta's culture. If you live in Atlanta, Marta. So like, it is something I like that they're entwining with us, because we like to consider ourselves one of the biggest stitches of Atlanta's culture. So melding these together is a cool thing. So with that, in that regard, it's nice. So that's probably the most euphemistically nice thing is you'll get from me about that.
Yeah. And it's also this, if the shirt, involves the Martyr bus that's that was in front of the Georgia Dome, which, fun fact, the videographer or the camera operator that was shooting that is a very good friend of mine. And, he's no longer lives in Georgia, but, when that happened and I saw that it was
town.
saw that it was him and ran him out of town. But and the Weather Channel, I mean, basically that cracked me up to no end. And it's iconic as anything, and I literally have a little piece of art in my house that pretty much like iconicizes that. So yeah, if they want to do that, I'm game. Like I will buy that shirt.
Lean into the memes, I mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
That would be fun.
Oh yeah. But anyway, so moving on from that, Arthur Blank, he received the Sports Business Journal Lifetime Achievement Award, and so definitely well deserved. I mean, he has ingratiated not only LA United into the soccer world landscape, but also as well, the U.S. soccer in our backyard, just providing such a big stake into that. It is absolutely, he is a legend as far as it goes for LA United, for soccer, but also, of course, for, football, American football anyway, with the Atlanta Falcons. So, definitely a big part of the community. And so, absolute congrats.
He's Mr. Soccer now.
Yeah, indeed. So, love it. But, the big piece of news, we have arrived to it. And, Fabrizio Romano, he reported that Cruz Azul, the Mexican side, they were prepared to bid on Wednesday, that's today when we were filming this, for Giorgos Giakoumakis. There was already an offer turned down. I think it was around $4.5 million apparently. And after Torino, they rejected the approaches from Cruz Azul for Duvan Zapata. It seems like they're going after Gigi, and reportedly anyway, Giakoumakis is keen on the move to Cruz Azul, and quote unquote, and club to club talks to follow with LA United. Now the context, obviously, Giorgos Giakoumakis, his contract ends in 2026. His agent probably fed this to Fabrizio Romano, who is pretty not infamous, but while most of what he says absolutely is true, does he get fed agent speak? Yes. And, I think this might be part of it. But, Giakoumakis, he was trying to get a contract signed. He's 29. There is, maybe that sort of like, the earlier he signs, it looks better in that regard. But kind of 2 years left, or 3 years in that sense. The more that he can kind of get that job security and his last big contract, probably, we can probably afford it. The difficulty is he too injured / gets too much yellow card accumulation / there's maybe some factors into why maybe the talks of a contract have stalled. But what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, so just the thing from Fabrizio, the tweet from him. Yeah, I agree with you. It's probably agent speak. It's probably, smoke where there is no fire, really. I don't think that they're seriously entertaining a move at this moment, especially for such kind of like low valuations. if they like say, here's double your salary, Giorgos, or like here's an insane amount more, I mean, it would behoove the club to accept it. But I don't think they do that. I think Cruz Azul and like a lot of other clubs, they try and lowball and find clubs that are a little pressed, desperate, and perhaps are, what's the word? Like willing sellers to, offset either debts or other types of things that they have going on. Atlanta is not in is not in dire financial straits. We are not like we don't hate Giorgos. Things are pretty good except for the results for the club. And that, for the most part, I don't think is a reason to get rid of Giorgos. So I think that basically what they were saying is just trying to drum up interest for him, so when he goes to the negotiating table with Atlanta, people can see, okay, X, Y, and Z wants so much, maybe we can drive it up a little bit more. And then obviously it's Atlanta's job to counter with, the, like you put it, well, it seems to be that you're injury prone. Like, it seems to be that you go away a lot for, international blah, blah, blah. But he has had that one press conference where he said he's thinking about withdrawing a little bit from the Greek national team, which is interesting, and wants to set his sights and focus more on Atlanta, which is, I've never heard a player do that before in my, following Atlanta. So that's interesting. And I get it, it's difficult traveling all over there and all the way back. And then he's not even the main striker at Greece. So like it can be difficult. And it seems like he falls out of form when he gets back here. So, it's just better for him to be on a steady course with his club team. And then hopefully he can really start to change things for the better at this club. So yeah, I don't think Giorgos is going anywhere. It would take a lot of money to move him, and the clubs that have come out asking and talking, I don't think they're the type of club to do that. I think that they're just trying to see and poke and prod us to see if we are desperate, which we are not.
Yeah. And it's possible that we might take an offer with, what you mentioned as well, because it's also apparently Cruz Azul, well, if they do get us a net profit and are pretty close to a price that's okay, we make a profit on, and it allows us to get maybe a more in their prime player, even though, Gigi is pretty in his prime, but it is also like, 2 more years, 3 more years, you have no idea kind of what type of form he will be in at that point, into his 30s at that stage. So, kind of evaluating it from that standpoint, it wouldn't be bad from a business standpoint of, doing that. But from an optics standpoint for the fans, that it's not a smart move, I would say, because I think fans already enough are like, okay, the best players are just always continually moving on from LA United, and someone that was pitted for maybe MVP territory, for Golden Boot territory, and then all of a sudden just like it would look like he would be unceremoniously shipped off to a degree. Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough from a lot of ends. But if it makes LA United better, I'm all for it. That's really, at the end of the day, the most important thing. Like the player loyalties, yes, of course, but this player hasn't really been at LA United very long. Hasn't really achieved much except for the Newcomer of the Year award. And yes, has scored a bunch of goals for us. So yes, like his service has been very good for us, but it's just a matter of, okay, well, what's the best for Atlanta United? And that's the most important thing. So, yeah.
Right, let's talk about this for a second, just a little bit further.
Sure.
If they were to get rid of him, come the summer or something, does that mean that they've basically given up on this season and trying to win?
I don't think necessarily, because I think you saw with us moving on Luis Araujo and us reloading in the summer, we definitely made a run after that. I think it can be a positive, if you lose a player that has a fairly big stature, I guess, in that regard. But so it's not exactly the end of the world. Like I know a lot of casual fans and kind of more diehard fans alike get very to where it's like, oh man, another player that is a stalwart or a star, and we are losing them. Not the best look, not the not inspiring for a fandom in that sense, but if you can replace him with a better player, a less injury prone player, then I think during this time where it's an evaluation period, I think you have to look into it and see. So, I'm not completely against it. But
what do you think this means if, let's hypothetically, he were to be sold in the summer or something? Mm-hmm. Do you think that this is basically an admission from, not an admission, but like, is this kind of like Garth went, I thought I found the striker, and maybe he wants to go in a different direction? Maybe he doesn't get a target striker next time? Maybe hold-up play isn't exactly what he's potentially could be looking for in the next striker? Or do you think they would continue to look for the same profile striker?
I think in order, there's a lot of things at play here. Obviously, is if Pineda is at the helm for that, if we do move on from Giakoumakis, maybe it is a clean slate from that. Now,
because like Amado will likely be gone too.
Right. So you have 2 DP slots that you can basically get the type of player that the next coach wants, or if Pineda is still in his steed, well, you have 2 pretty much target forwards, kind of as the understudies. Maybe you can get somebody that's a little bit different of a dynamic, so that you are able to play it in different ways. And that's the thing. I'm not sure this has necessarily helped us as an attacking side by having a player or 3 players that are so similar.
Yeah.
It makes us a team that is, hoof it and hope. And it's not necessarily something that I really want to see. Like, yeah, you have on occasion, kind of as a plan B or C, that type of play. But as we've seen, it's oftentimes our plan A. And, when that doesn't go, it doesn't necessarily go the way we want. But, so breaking news, LA United will host Indy 11 at Fifth Third Bank Stadium for the quarterfinal of the U.S. Open Cup. Of the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup. And, the matchup will happen between July 9th and 10th. This is a hat tip to Niall Faruqi. So definitely shouts out to you. But, so, we'll be playing another USL side, but this time at home. So, I think it's another case of, we need to take care of business. But, what are your instant reactions to that?
I don't know much about Indy 11, except for I hear their name brought up into some kind of embroilments that are going on with MLS. I heard some controversies in the news. So, could be something to look at if you don't know anything about it, to get kind of a background of what is going on with them. And also, I don't know how good they are. They've made it this far, so there's something to say that they have at least a little bit of, they have a little bit of something to say when it comes to tournament settings. So they're doing something right. I don't think we should look past them. We can't. We haven't been able to look past any team we played in the Open Cup. or in MLS for that matter, every game we play seems like we are, backs against the wall, scrapping for every little piece of earth that we're playing on, and working our butts off for every goal and every point. It's harrowing, to be honest. So it's just gonna be another. I mean, damn, it could go to penalties again for all I know. Like, it's gonna be a rough ride. Hopefully we can get another win against Indy 11, another USL team, another lower division team. And I just hope Cohen continues to hear me in his head. No more losing to USL teams.
Yeah, indeed. Definitely it will be a matchup that we have to win. Pretty much any side that's is a lower division side, like, we cannot lose to them. So absolutely agreed. And last bit of news, Atlanta United 2 picked up their first road win of the season in a 3-2 thriller over Huntsville City FC over on Saturday. And Javier Armas, Kareem Tamimi found the back of the net, and defender Miles Hadley, he bagged his first professional goal of his career. So congrats to Hadley. And newcomer Ethan Dudley also made his club debut. So congrats to Atlanta 2 for the first road win of the season. That'd be nice. That'd be nice for the first team here. But anyway, so that's the news, and it gets us into the mailbag. And you guys send in these questions through IG Story and Discord. And please continue to do so, and we might answer your questions in the future. But first question comes from some of these we kind of have a little bit answered a bit already, but Indomitable 17, will Atlanta submit and sell Gigi to Cruz Azul? And we kind of talked about that in the previous. I mean, Michael says no. I say maybe.
I just think it'd be, like you pointed out, it'd be a little foolish. You already have such a bad kind of taste in your, like, the fans have a bad taste in their mouths about the team, the front office, and everything. And I just don't think this is a way to bring them back into the fold, per se, make them happy again. So yeah, I feel like it would just continue to escalate division between the fans and the club. So I just don't think it would be healthy or a good idea.
Indeed.
Money talks. So,
money does talk, exactly. Next bit of news is that, or not news, next question rather. Let's see. Blue Viking 1, who is new to the server on Discord as well.
Welcome.
How bad does it have to get before Gonzo is gone? And the same for Boca. Obviously, this is the hot topic of the past few weeks, month, for
seasons.
Boca. Seasons. Gonzo as well, seasons. But how bad does it have to get?
I mean, it's hard to say, considering things have gotten pretty bad, and nothing has happened. So worse, I would say. Things would have to get worse than they already have, which is pretty bad. We're nowhere close to making top 4 in the standings. It's probably getting mathematically impossible at a certain point. We're not going to be winning any trophies this season, like, unless a miracle happens. And we're losing a bunch of players over, the summer, that this team can look significantly different next year. So, like, it's just this, it's not a great prognosis. The team is in flux. Confidence is at, like, an all-time low, except for maybe it's been picked up after the Open Cup win, but it's always, that just feels like it's a Pyrrhic victory. So, we'll see how this team responds for the next game against a very difficult challenge, going into with a game against LAFC at home. So, I don't like. We're 8 winless. we have reached an historic amount of losses at home in a row. I mean, I don't know. Could it get worse? Yeah. We could lose against LAFC, and now it's 4 in a row, which is likely. I mean, I still don't know if that's enough to like that the front office would go like, yep, here we are, because I felt like it should have been enough before. So apparently maybe they have a plan, and the plan is just consistent with Pineda staying on until they can get their ducks in a row or what have you. They don't see the advantage of just, doing a knee-jerk firing or something like that, even though this is, in my opinion, not knee-jerk. This is like, this is the Inception van falling off of the bridge kind of, knee-jerk. So,
oh my God. Yeah.
So I just, and then for Boca, he's gotten better over the last season with his last string of hires. I'll concede that for sure. There's a lot of other ones before that were god awful that we're still paying for. They're still hurt. Yep. So Garth is though giving him, some form of a longer leash to say, basically, you dug this hole, dig yourself out of it. And he tossed him the shovel and he said, get to work. And he's getting to work, and it seems to be working out. Now, if like Giorgos, gets sold and then we find out that, it wasn't just because money, like that would be a pretty big indictment on Bocanegra. I don't think that's the case, but because that's his big marquee thing really is getting Giorgos. That was the thing he hung his hat on. So it's tough to say, man. I mean, if they're not gone by now, you have to think that there's other things at play that are keeping them there, that Garth is, kind of building into his overall plan, which I, in totality, have faith in the overall plan, because I believe Garth knows what the heck he's doing, and he can bring these guys in line. Pineda, maybe not so much if he continues to try and play this way. I don't know if it's a top-down thing. The FO's like, you have to play this way or something like that, but... and this is Atlanta's identity. You have to.
I'm sure by now, though, they are not. And sorry to cut you off, but it's like, I'm sure they're prioritizing results. So it's at this point, it's like, stop hemorrhaging, losses, stop, pretty much at any point in this, you just have to win. Like, however way you do it, like, you need to find the ways. And unfortunately, he's not. Like, it's been 2 months, and I mean, how much more like of a sample size do you need? It's really, at this point, he's on borrowed time, and it's I'm not really sure when the alarm is going to strike, but and
it sucks too, because Gonzo is not even like the biggest problem in my opinion. Like, we just have to kind of get better. We have to get a little bit more chemistry going with our team. Like, Sam Jones from Five Stripe Final put out that analysis that's like, Gonzalo Pineda has had significantly worse, available strikers throughout his tenure, or available starters throughout his tenure, than any of the other coaches had. If you look at I think Garth Lageré and in Seattle, they came up with this, or they have this, 9+2 system, where it's like, starters plus fillers. And if you drop below, if you're like at 8+3 or below, you start to see significant drop off in points per game on average. And basically every coach before us, before Pineda, has had like only like at like 12 or so 8+3s or below the entire time they've been the coach. Pineda has had like 53 or something, if I remember correctly. Like it's like,
it is a mind-boggling stat, but it also is the way that he has his team set up and plays. So while, but I mean, what is also, I mean, Tata has had, and when you look at championship runs and how good the team does, we've had amazing luck with 90% of our players who are the starters and the ones that were, called upon to contribute the most, that added to our victories and to got us as far as the MLS Cup,
they stayed healthy. They never got injured, and when they did, they came back. Most of our injuries were to players that weren't like integral to the team. Whereas Pineda, it's like every player that goes down is like, this guy was super important, and it was like you pretty much needed him, and then here you are.
Because Robinson, Guzan, all that. But I think context is super key. Like those stats in a vacuum obviously seem like some sort of way to definitely.
Well, both things are true.
Yeah,
that Gonzo
exactly.
is not doing well as a coach, and his tactics, in my opinion, are not good enough. And also, the deck is almost kind of stacked against him. Also,
Yeah, exactly. He probably isn't as bad as it indicates right now, but it also is. It's part of why he's in the place that he is with the roster that he has. Like players going down, like so many players going down. It's a part of like how we play and train. And let's be honest, our press, and we do try to press, very high and with some sort of intensity. Well, those type of teams that do press like that, well, you're going to see more attrition. You're going to see, these type of players, especially when it's not done well, because let's be honest, like that's part of the issue is
the Peachtree press has seen better days.
Yeah, exactly, and that's part of why these players are going down. It's not the only reason. Let's like listen to the words carefully, but it is definitely the reasons, parts of the reasons why so many players go down, why we are in the form that we're in. It all plays a part. And some of the you have the other types of coaches that maybe play in a more fashion that doesn't demand as much from players. And I think with proper depth, with proper it all plays a part. So if you have good enough depth to kind of withstand that type of thing, because let's be honest, Tata Martino, his first couple years, the depth that we had because of the TAM money that we got coming into the league, we had much better role players than what we have right now. And so, while not going into an entire episode about that, maybe it's something that we discuss in a future kind of solo thing, solo video. But anyway, so next question comes from the ATL guy and the greatest Josh Cohen fan, pretty much asking the same thing. What I'm asking is what he starts off with. If we do get to the final for the US Open Cup, will Cohen be the starter or Goose? Last time we were in the quarters, Goose took charge till the final. Do you think Pineda will hand Cohen the gloves or give them now to Goose for the rest of the US Open Cup? Well, since now we're playing in the 11, I'm thinking it's probably going to be Josh Cohen, and I have a feeling he's going to get the whole tournament. But, barring any, hopefully, knock on wood, injuries or anything like that. And as far as MLS games, probably not yet. Although, personally, I would like to see it. But, yeah. You?
I completely agree with everything you said. That's exactly my opinion as well. And he should be playing the entire tournament, I think, Josh Cohen, at the very least. And I'd like to see him, like you said, in MLS, but I still think Brad Guzan, there are arguments for why he should continue to start, and I think it's okay if he does. It's not the end of the world if he does. But I would like to see Josh Cohen. If Josh Cohen was on the starting thing and Brad was like, yeah, it's cool, I'd be like, okay, for LAFC or something. Okay, sure, why not?
Yeah. I mean, that momentum, is key. So why don't you bring the players that have the momentum in that sense? And, players that are getting you results instead of the players that's, it's because, for whatever reason or not, because their stature in the team and all that, they're immovable. Well, yeah, these players in good form, how about we put them in with, merit and I think that's what it is. Like, Josh Cohen got a clean sheet. Brad Guzan wasn't able to recently. Okay, bring in that player. I mean, it's not on just him, obviously, but...
And we speculate Josh probably would have made a better decision about the Nashville goal, too.
Yep. So, it is that. Like, he conceded the penalty, Guzan. He then conceded the actual penalty goal. I mean, like, do we need more merit? Like, we can go down the line this past 2 months.
Yeah, because up until this, Brad hasn't done too many egregious things.
Right.
That goal in Nashville I consider to be on him. I mean, obviously... Noah's going to let good players in occasionally. You know, it's just going to happen. So you have to step up, and I don't think Brad did there. I think he tried, but I think his mind thought faster than his body could react, and he was too slow.
Yeah. So, I mean, while it might shake up the captainship a little bit, I mean, I think you have to right now. It's, it might undermine Brad Guzan's voice in the locker room. But I think we need some new voices. I think
I think that's like impossible. You hear that man's voice?
Well, it's true.
Like impossible to undermine that voice.
Right. That part is true, but it is, to some degree it does happen. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not the guy who's leading out the team anymore, and you're talking loudly, well, some players are gonna tune out, because in that sense they're gonna be like, oh well, you lost your place, so why should I listen to you?
Yeah, the coach doesn't have faith in you as much. Yeah.
Right. So it all does kind of play a part. But last question. Land guy in ATL, and we've kind of addressed this a little bit, but will the FO sell off GG or any other players? Any rumors of incoming players? So unfortunately not as far as incoming players.
It's because we're going to have to get rid of players before we pick up any new ones, because we don't have the cap space.
Right. But there still might be, some players that we are going for that, it might leak out that, a rumor here and there. I think it's going to be more in June and definitely in July that those rumors come a little harder and faster. But because, as far as us bringing in, like Michael said. But any other players? I mean, Thiago Almada.
Y'all got some of those Thiago Almada rumors? I'm down. I want to hear those.
Yeah, there's that. There's, all sorts of different players that's... we should probably look to move on to see, if we can upgrade the roster. Like, if you can, I think we should. I mean, it's clear that the... kind of the core, if you will, it's like, I'm not sure we're sold. It's not really like, kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
What's the core to you right now? I'll tell you what my answer is, but what is your core right now?
I think as far as the core, because it's a little bit newer, you're not going to move them on. I think it's Bartosz Slisz. I think it's Stian Gregerson. I think it's it's tough kind of beyond that, because it's maybe somewhere along the spine. I mean, it's like, if we want to keep Gigi, well, then Gigi's part of that group, but Almada definitely isn't, unfortunately. Like, he's kind of a temporary cog in that wheel. Saba and Silva, I think they have a lot to prove. Lennon, I'm not so sure. I think he's got his abilities, but it is, defensively, it's part of the reasons. Like, I'm not completely sold on his ability to kind of be our right back, like, just going forward for our best teams. Caleb Wiley might be Europe bound in some time, so probably not him. While he's a very, very good player and, has the whole world in front of him, I'm not sure he's part of the core, So I think it's probably that, unfortunately. Muyumba, kind of, it's a little bit where I'm not so sure yet. So, it's probably those two players right now that we're building on. And, if we can expand from that, I think it's a pretty good kind of springboard. But definitely not enough. We need reliable attackers, and we don't have that. We don't have that right now. But yeah,
I agree. Except for I would also add Josh Cohen into that. I think he will be a core player in the next season. In him, plus the two you mentioned, will at least be featured heavily next season, and as the core to build out from, as we continue to rebuild, as we apparently have been for multiple seasons now.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. It's like, we haven't called it a rebuild, but it absolutely has been a rebuild, because it's played off as been a retool, but it definitely hasn't been the case. But yep. So yeah, that is the mailbag, guys, and it gets us into the match preview. 7:30 Saturday, LAFC at the Benz. We've talked a little bit about it already, alluding to them, but yeah, they're 5th in the West. Like I said, they beat Loudoun United 3-0 in the U.S. Open Cup match, and they beat St. Louis City 2-0 recently as well in the league. So they are on a run. And the last match we played against them was in June of 2023 to a 0-0 draw. So, there is that.
Right, Buzan had a hell of a game.
He did. It was kind of a resurgence type of game. Not pun not intended, but the last 6 against them as well. We've won 2, we've drawn 1, and they've won 1. Not 6, obviously. That's 4. But yeah, it's basically, we've saw the better of the results a little bit, just edging it out. But this side right now, maybe not in their best form. Obviously, they've had a lot of competitions, and so also, yeah, I mean, they are adding Olivier Giroud, a World Cup winner. One of the best target forwards of this generation, and yeah, we're facing that on Saturday. So yeah,
is he
obviously
playing on Saturday?
We'll see. Not sure, but Denny Bouanga also as well. Obviously, one of their strengths. Edward Atuesta.
And what, Loris?
Yeah, Lloris. Goal? Yeah, exactly. Like they have a lot of weapons and all that. Their spine is quite good. I think them being 5th in the West, it's a little bit of a red herring, but yeah, I think they're one of the better sides for sure.
Yeah, and they're starting to come back. I mean, they talk about zombie teams. This they had a little bit of a stumble in the beginning, but they're picking up results. Like you said, they're going on a run right now, so they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They're perennial playoff teams. They'll at least, yeah. I think it's safe to say that for now, right. LAFC is a perennial playoff team. Right. So it would be ridiculous if they didn't show up. I think they will give us a good game. I think they're going to be ready to win. It's cross conference, maybe some players will be like, it's away, it's not that big of a deal, perhaps some rotation, whatever. I still think that their whatever rotation squad is still probably good enough to get the job done if we're not pumping on all cylinders, which we have not been for a long time now. So
it's definitely it reads for a game that will be very, very difficult. And yeah, I mean, as far as kind of the other signings from them this offseason, I mentioned Atuesta, Omar Campos, David Martinez, but they also lost Kellen Acosta, Giorgio Chiellini, as well as Maxime Cropau. So yeah, definitely they've lost some players, but they've added some very, very good players in this league. So it's still, yeah, like formidable for sure. And
like think of it like this. This is kind of like to bring things down a little bit, a little melancholy, but like I think it's fair to say when you looked at the betting odds for Atlanta United versus Charleston,
yeah,
we were the underdogs.
We were. I mean, it was away, but it also is, yes, form wise, I think first half wise, it very much is. And in this one, it's not going to be.
I fully expect to be the underdogs against LAFC.
Oh yeah, even at home, because there's a lot of factors. One being the predictions around the league that basically the pundits have them finishing as low as 5th and as high as 1st. So they are pretty much their whereabouts, maybe underperforming a little bit where their expectations ultimately will be. But they're that type of side that's just like super strong in attack and pretty decent at the back too. They're gonna counterattack us. They're gonna hit us on set pieces. They're quite good from a press as well. But yeah, they do have some fallibilities. They, we can get at them from a set piece. We can, kind of to our strength. They're not the best defending the wings. So, if we do win a foul in a dangerous area, maybe we can pump in a ball to one of our target forwards. So there is that possibility that maybe we can smash and grab here at home, unfortunately. But something that reads for a little bit of grim reading is that LAFC has scored at least 2 goals in 8 of their last 9 MLS matches. So they gonna score like that. That is probably gonna happen. But
and if they have Olivier Giroud,
and
I just hope what happened with the Argentinians on our team and Messi doesn't happen with the Frenchmen on our team with Giroud.
Right. Yeah. That, or also, I mean, we have Steven Gregerson, who is a unit himself. Maybe this is a match for Efrain Morales, but we'll see. We'll get to that in a second. Obviously, the as far as who's available, well, Gigi's questionable, Almado's questionable, Derek Williams also questionable. I mean, you might throw him in the fire if he's even just 90%. Derek Williams against Olivier Giroud. But yeah, Wolf, of course, out pretty much probably about 3 to 4 more weeks with his MCL sprain. That gets us into our starting 11 and what we might do. And yes, if they start Olivier Giroud, I think that's really how I'm going to set up this lineup. And we'll think about how Pineda might set up this lineup as well, of course. But so it's a meld of both. Obviously it's what heart and mind says. But in goal, who do you have?
It's probably gonna play Brad Guzan, but I would be more interested to see Josh Cohen.
Yeah. Against such a strong side, it's like, I mean, I can't see them throwing Josh Cohen in there, but I think you do. But yeah, Pineda's probably going to play Guzan. So that is that. Into the fullbacks, I think this is probably the easiest of it all right now. Lennon, Wiley.
Yeah.
As far as center backs, who do you got?
If Steen can play, which I think he can, he's 1,000% in. God, do we need him back? We need him back more than we need air. Like it's insane. And I mean, if Williams is able to play, I kind of agree with you. At least for a little while, put him in because he's just been so good. But he's been out of it for a while. I think Pineda sees that as a risk. And if he's not 100%, Pineda also likes to wait until they're 100%. So I feel like Abram will probably be out there, even though I can't imagine Abram will do very well. I mean, against the likes of LAFC, I think he'd get run over. Mm-hmm. But
because that's the thing, it's Abram, like he doesn't have the pace, he doesn't have the physicality. Like it's just really it's relying on his ability to read the game, and sometimes it's not always there either. So
now it's supposed to be his strength.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just not always where we see that as a strength. But I mean, I think it's Gregerson. Like I said, Williams, if he can play a little bit, and then probably Efrain Morales, kind of as just spelling him probably. So whether that is the case, it's probably going to be a problem. So, but into midfield, do you put McCarty in for Muyumba, or McCarty did play a lot of minutes. Muyumba did not.
I think that they are saving Muyumba for this. So
yeah, so it's probably Muyumba and Schlich. But you think any differently? No.
No, yeah, I think they're saving Muyumba for this game, and Schlich has to play.
Yeah, he does. He's kind of the main way that our defense is going to be shielded for sure. Okay, well, into the wings. Saba, I think that's probably given, but on the left wing, do you risk Silva from the start, or
Yeah, I think so. I think with Mascara playing a lot of minutes in the Open Cup, I think that's a nod to Silva coming back as a starter, and then Mascara returning to his super sub status.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Saba and Silva. Now into the number 10 position is if we play this way. Obviously Wiley could play up top, or not up top, but on the left wing again. Maybe that's a route we go. I don't see it happening this match. Firmino did play a good number of minutes, but he was also taken off, so he probably, I think anyway, is probably the guy that's going to be in that spot. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, oh boy. Yeah. I guess so. But
right.
I mean, yeah,
I know it's. I'm not sure he's gonna be able to create enough. Atuesta is a tough customer. He will mark him very well, and Firmino, he's gotta pull out some other dynamics in his game probably in order to kind of get the best of that LAFC midfield, but.
He does do a lot of running. When he's pushing the envelope, when we have the ball in the back and we're building up, he likes to make runs to break the defense and keep them on their toes. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see him continue to do that. Mm-hmm. LAFC needs to be checked. They need to be held honest. That will change the complexion of the game a bit if we continue to do that. I want to see our guys being called offside. I want to see them pushing that. Then maybe they get that ball, maybe they get lucky, maybe they get through, maybe they score. And Firmino is one of the guys who seems keen on that. He seems interested in that. So hopefully we can find him. We haven't been able to. A lot of times with those runs, people don't look up. So we need to do that a little bit more. But that goes into what we were talking about earlier. Team doesn't seem to be on the same page. So that's difficult. You see guys putting out that much energy and not getting rewarded for it.
Right. I mean, because that's what it is. It's like he's a willing runner, but we need creators as well. And looking at the lineup, it's like maybe Muyumba will be able to find him.
Schlich tries. He tries, and it's not always great, but it's he tries. So
that's kind of what's missing from Schlich's game at the moment is it would make him a very complete midfielder in MLS if he can find that final ball with regularity a little bit, and obviously that's asking a lot of your defensive midfielder, so especially in MLS, so it's kind of why, but that's part of it is where is the creation going to come from? That's no idea, but up top, if GG can play, obviously, but doesn't seem like he'll probably be risked for this one. I think it's Rios. Do you think it's Rios or Tiare?
I would like to see Rios, but I have a feeling it'll be Jamal. I would like to see Rios.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, because right now it's a bit of a battle between them two is who's the first one off the bench, and as a competition for places, okay, cool, but both of them also need to see the back of the net soon because like either of them not scoring recently, it's not doing really great for strikers' mentalities, so they need to score. and soon. So hopefully this one. But yep. So that gets us to the score prediction. What do you got?
I want to say it's a draw. But my heart is like, well, I guess my heart wants it to be a draw because I want points. But my brain is saying probably 2-1 LAFC.
Yep. That's exactly how I have it. I mean, they're gonna score. Will it be 2 goals? Probably. Like betting man says, probably 2 goals. The question is, in this lineup, do we have 2 goals? I'm not sure.
And if Olivier if this is his like starting game with their team, then that's a wrap. Like I can't see it. Like, but if he doesn't play, then I think there's a more likelihood that we could attain a draw because I think we'll have solid defenders in.
Yeah, most of our defense, most of our team has not faced someone like Olivier Giroud. He is a little bit older, but he's gonna bully you. He is one of the best, if not the best, at hold-up play as a striker. And while maybe in other leagues he's not a player that scores a bunch of goals. Like he has every type of ability to score in his locker. So, like if you have ever seen his highlight reel, he looks like the best striker in history. But obviously he's not. But he's a good striker. And between his scorpion kicks, his crazy headers, his scoring from a little bit of distance or on the volley, I mean, this dude can put the ball in the back of the net with some creativity, and you get it around him in the box, he's gonna find a way. So, I wish I could say that about some of our players, but
the man knows his way around the 18. We could say
he does, unfortunately. And hopefully we can find that way around too. But 2-1 loss probably is what the head says here. What do you guys think? Let us know. But that does it for the match review, and it gets us to the question of the day. Question of the day is, if we win the U.S. Open Cup, will you say that Gonzalo Pineda can sign a new contract? Let us know. I mean, obviously that's a question for the front office, but do you think they would do that? I know it's not exactly the question you really want to say yes to, but think with your minds, not with your hearts on this one. What would they do? What would the front office do? So, anyway, guys, that is the episode there and there. And yes, for Michael, I'm AJ. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.